Here at the Mount of Olives in the company of Dalal Iriqat, who teaches at the Arab American University, vice president of that institution, also a columnist for Al-Quds, advisor to the Palestinian Prime Minister. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We just heard our reporter there telling us about the dozens killed in the Gaza Strip. There were protests in the West Bank as well. But the mood is different, it seems, between those two parts.
Well, when bad behavior is rewarded, things can only get worse. And I would like to go back now to the December announcement, illegal announcement of Trump, when he had judged the previous presidents of the United States of America for having made failed assumptions and failed strategies. And he added that he would correct their failures by recognizing Jerusalem as a state, as the capital of Israel. Well, I tell him today what he's celebrating today, what they're doing today by the relocation of the embassy as well, is actually introducing fake and failed realities on the ground. I am one example of Palestinians who was born in Jerusalem. I am a Palestinian from Jerusalem and I will always be. So introducing or creating failed and fake realities on the ground does not bring any hope to the peace process here.
We just spoke with Yehuda Glick, who's a member of the Knesset. He's for he talked about the messianic aspect of it all. That this is all written in the Bible. That offers the legitimacy to what's happening in politics right now. People who think like him are no longer the fringe in Israel, and we're seeing on both sides the increasing religiousness of what's going on. Why is it becoming more of a religious confrontation? It's the same thing in the Palestinian territories.
Well, this is sad, but if we're going to start labeling or defining cities or states by their race, the race of people who live there, or their religion, then I'm sorry, but this is racism at its best.
Why is it becoming more religious?
Well, again, when violence is rewarded, when Trump's unilateral steps, when violating all international law, when doing all this, disregarding the core values of justice and human rights, when disrespecting the terms of the peace process itself, when leaving the young generations of the Palestinians hopeless. Look at people in Gaza, the thousands are being killed and martyrs every day and every week, and nobody cares. What do you expect?
Do you feel as though, well, the international community is just not paying as much attention as they once were?
Well, this is another story. I mean, the international community, the UN, and we cannot, I'm not going to recall the number of the UN resolutions that had stated that any unilateral Israeli decision that would change the status quo of Jerusalem is considered null and void, and that all countries and member states of the UN should consider it null and void. And here, I call upon the other international community and the states to immediately, starting tomorrow morning or tonight maybe, to recognize East Jerusalem as capital for the Palestinian state and to recognize the state of Palestine. There is nothing left to be done for us as Palestinians.
But you've been pushed down, this is the sad reality of the pecking order of the stories that grab the attention of the international community because of the standoff with Iran, because of the civil war in Syria. And you also have certain states which seem to be more and more close to Israel within the Arab League. There used to be this unity behind the Palestinians. Now, what's your reaction, for instance, when you see that Saudi Arabia is drawing closer to Israel, that we have statements from the foreign minister of Bahrain on Twitter this past week where he applauded Israel in its standoff with Iran?
Well, Trump just added today on the opening of the embassy that he is recognizing realities again and that he is contributing to the stability of the region. Well, if we see bloodshed and violence and unilateral actions and recognizing annexation, recognizing apartheid, recognizing racism is bringing stability to the region, then maybe we need a new definition for stability.
But why is there this disunity among Arab nations now?
Well, I think the Arab League's latest decision was clear and that they stand with the Palestinian leadership. And I hope that they will take more solid and rigid positions starting now until maybe tomorrow morning.
Because there seems to be this obsession with the Sunni-Shia divide. And the Palestinian issue, again, is falling into second position there.
Well, unfortunately, we're letting religion play a role in our politics and our realities, and this is what I want to disagree with. And I'm calling upon all the Israeli citizens and all the American citizens and all the Palestinians and every civilized citizen of the world to just disagree and not accept bringing or introducing fake and failed realities to the ground. We cannot accept to define Jerusalem upon one race or one religion. Jerusalem should be an open city for all Muslims, Jews, Christians, or atheists, no matter what. It should be an open city for all, a city of peace.
Are moderates being squeezed out on both sides? Is it harder to be a moderate right now?
Well, I can speak on the Palestinian side. We're left with no tools. We have tried the peace talks. We went to negotiations, and we are still for it. And we're still pro-peace and pro-peace process. But we need guarantees if we want to go back to the table.
Need guarantees. We're coming up later this year on the 25th anniversary of the Oslo Accords, and the way it carved up the Palestinian territories was supposed to be a temporary solution until a final peace deal was worked out. It's going to be 25 years now, and do you have the sense that this two-state solution is dead at this point?
Well, I would say and repeat that the two-state solution would be like the best-case scenario. But given the realities, the fake and failed realities, again, that Trump is introducing with the help of Netanyahu. And by the way, they're making a strategic failure today. They're celebrating today's opening, but tomorrow they will regret it, and the history will recall this failure strategy. Going back to the one or two-state solution, again, two-state solution is the best-case scenario, but we're hopeless now, and I think Palestinians are left with no other choice than calling for a one-state solution where we have equal rights, no matter of religion or race.
Dalal Iriqat, one final question for you. The United States, what eye do the Palestinians have on it? Because what do they think? You yourself studied in the U.S., so you know the United States well. The United States, which for years tries to act as broker, but then they elect this one president, and he says, all bets are off at this point. Does that forever mean that the United States can no longer be a broker?
Well, if we talk about diplomacy and brokering a peace process, well, I think the American we need to differentiate between the American people and the American administration.
But do Palestinians make that differentiation?
Well, I think it's time we realize that the American administrations, given the current one or the previous ones, were playing coercive diplomacy on Palestinians rather than the role of the mediator or the broker.
All right. Well, many thanks for joining us, Dalal Iriqat, for being with us here in this special edition of the France 24 debate.
Thank you.